Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have Daisy on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, giving an update on what went down on her season. Of course, she was the runner-up, one of the, best dumpings we've ever seen on The Bachelor, as far as she seemed happy and empowered. Oh, she was sad, but she kind of knew something was off. And in the Us Weekly headline, Daisy Kent says she tried to force things with Bachelor Joey. Something's always missing. So let's get into a few clips of what was said. I'll play some audio for you. Let's go through this. She says, if I'm being honest, Caitlin Bristow song, if I'm being honest, there was something always missing between us. And by the way, people need to be less honest. I got an email from somebody who tried to give me honest feedback on something. Just don't do that. I know you think it's constructive. Don't. I am trying my best already. I don't need it. I don't have a tips line, and I don't want your feedback, please, if I'm being honest. That's what I learned is people want to tell you what their honest thought is, but they don't want to hear an honest response, That's what I learned. So she says, if I'm being honest, there was something always missing between us. And I felt in ways I was kind of trying to force it to be there because I felt like we are a lot alike in ways. But I just feel like there was always things missing between us. And I think for a period of the show, I just kind of ignored it. And then when it got to the ending, I was like, yeah, I'm right. There is something missing between us. So we'll play a few clips of what she had to say here from the moment they met to that moment where she actually mentions breaking down crying because she realized she wasn't the one. Have a listen.
I don't really know how this is gonna go, but I was really excited. And when he was announced as the Bachelor, I was like, I could actually see myself me and him getting along really, really well. And so I was excited about it. And I got out. I was just so nervous. But then you walked in, and it was just craziness, all the girls and everything. But then when I talked to him, that was the first time I was like, maybe I think something's there.
That's always a good feeling too, because you're like, this night's so crazy. I've just turned my life upside down to be here. So to have that first conversation be like, okay, this wasn't all for nothing. There's potential connection. Must have felt really good.
Yes, I'm sure it did feel really good to find out you liked somebody. Let's go to the meat and the potatoes. I get it. You got to go through sort of the initial part of the rose ceremony discussion. And now we can get into the talk about, when things started to get real.
It was slowly building up, and I was kind of denying it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But then, at the end, and I remember going into the rose ceremony before Fantasy Suites week. I remember doing an interview, and I was like, I'm just worried that I wasn't allowing myself to feel it all, and now I'm feeling everything, and I'm wishing I would have felt it sooner, because now I feel like I'm gonna miss out.
Yeah, and I can totally understand how you would maybe have a guard up, in the sense of you were maybe holding back those feelings because he is dating multiple women, and it is scary to be I'm just going to let myself totally fall in love with this guy when there's 15 other girls here and I might get my heart broken.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely is a reason. I feel like a lot of people hold back sometimes, but I'm happy
you kind of it's kind of insane not to hold back a little bit, because there's so many other women there. It is. But
with how it ends, are you happy you eventually let yourself feel everything despite everything that happens?
Yes, I am, because I think it really opened me up in a different way. And I think I just think the ending happened really beautifully for everyone involved. And and I am really happy I did it, because it was such a great experience and I had so much fun.
Look, I get it. This is her story, but the show's so formulaic that I feel like you hear the same story every time. There's no crazy tea. There's no Zach and Gabby situation where there's just this bad blood on how it ended. It's this is very, boring, but in the best way, right? This is what you want.
Did create really good relationships through it too. And so, honestly, it, as hard as it was in that moment, like looking back on it, I'm like, I think it was like everything I needed.
Yeah, that's good. That's definitely a positive outlook. The in-between time between after Fantasy Suites and before that last date, right? That's what, like the sauna date. Where was your headspace before that date?
Yeah, because I know you mentioned on the finale that the first time you felt that shadow of a doubt was after the rose ceremony, after Fantasy Suites, seeing Kelsey and Joey look at each other. So, yeah, to reiterate what Joe said, where was your head at?
Joe goes, where was your head at? And then Serena goes, yeah. To reiterate what Joe said, where was your head at?
Yeah, so from that last rose ceremony when I saw him and Kelsey, I could just tell there was like this energy between them. And I was like, oh, I don't think it's me. For like a second, I remember thinking that. And then I remember I like broke down crying and they both like hugged me. And I was like, gonna be okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's how you know it's not you, when you break down and then they console you and then they go off and make out. That's not
and then from, I think I kind of just like blocked it out because I was like, oh, we're meeting the family went great. And then after that, I was like, okay, that went so good. And I was like, but you didn't really get to talk to him when you like meet the family. You don't get to talk to him that much. Just basically just talking to the family. And then going into our next date, I was just so like filled with anxiety, and it didn't feel like the excitement I had always felt when I was going to see him. And everything just started to like physically like hurt, like my whole body. Like I was just like, this doesn't feel right. And then we went into that date, and I don't know, maybe I had some like spiritual awakening. I don't know. But I was like,
no, it's called intuition. You knew you weren't the one.
I feel like it's like women's intuition, or like you just have this sixth sense.
They call it women's intuition. Is that real more than men's intuition? I feel like men have intuition, but we also have our own testosterone. And when we flare the testosterone, it wipes out intuition. Our intuition is like, this is a bad idea. And then our testosterone's like, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, because it did.
I don't know. Please, ladies in the comment section, tell me how I'm wrong, please.
Feel like as a viewer, it kind of felt like Joey was like soft.
I had a bit. I used to do a bit that was like, I read an article that men with longer hair have better intuition. I know it's true because I didn't read the article. I just kind of felt it. You know what I mean? Hey, it's a good joke.
Breaking up with you, like he
like
was
soft launching the breakup.
Like did, and then I know at the reunion or not the reunion, whatever it's called,
finale.
I should know by now because I've been doing this for 10 years. He like was like, how did you know? But like as a viewer, we were it was kind of like, yeah, it's kind of obvious the way.
Yeah, it's like, Joey, your poker face wasn't as good as you thought it was.
And like, do you think you I guess poked that out of him at all, or do you think like it was kind of just like you both were feeling it? I guess
I think we both were feeling it, and we both knew, but I think it was just processing and kind of like coming to terms with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's how it is, right? It's like she knew she wasn't the one. He obviously knew she wasn't the one, but then she has these feelings of, am I just doubting myself? Am I really the one? In real life, you would have known you're not the one because he just wouldn't call you back, or, you know, it'd be over or whatever. But on the show, they sort of force it to bleed out. And she knew it was bleeding out. She saw the writing on the wall. All right, well, there's your clip from Bachelor Happy Hour. If you really want to go listen to the full episode, go to Bachelor Happy Hour. Or if you want to catch up on all of entertainment news in one place, I'll have it all for you this afternoon on the Bachelor Rush Hour podcast, soon to be called the Rush Hour. And you can go check that out right there. I'll be live, right now on Patreon if you want to be on the behind the scenes live stream, chatting with Megan Fox, who's been covering the Clayton Echard paternity scandal. Go catch that right now, patreon.com/Dave Neal. We'll see you in a bit.